The room went quiet for half a second, the kind of silence that feels heavier than noise. A young waitress lay on the diner floor, hot coffee spreading across the tiles like a dark stain beside her. Laughter echoed from the wrong place. One laugh stood out, loud, careless, and worn behind a police badge. No one in that diner realized that a single cruel moment, witnessed by the wrong man, was about to turn into a lesson the town would never forget. And no one, especially not that officer, had any idea that kindness, not anger, would be the force that changed everything. The diner sat just off a quiet Texas highway, the kind of place where the coffee was always hot and the faces were familiar. Regulars filled the booths every morning, truckers, retirees, and local workers all sharing space and small talk. Emma had been working there nearly a year. At only 22, she was paying her way through community college while caring for her sick mother. Exhausted from a long night, she still tied her apron, tucked back her hair, and put on the best smile she could manage. She believed in doing her best, even on the hard days. Around noon, a police officer walked in. Broad-shouldered and confident, he carried himself like the room belonged to him. Emma greeted him warmly and continued her shift. But as she walked past his table, something caught her shoe. Witnesses later said they saw the officer slide his foot out slightly, just enough. Emma never stood a chance. She fell hard, the tray crashing and coffee splashing across the floor. Pain shot through her knee, but the humiliation burned even worse. The officer laughed. Not a nervous laugh, but a loud, careless one. A few people gasped, others looked away, unsure what to do. Emma's hands shook as she tried to stand. Her eyes filled with tears. And even though she had done nothing wrong, she whispered, "I'm so sorry." The officer smirked. "Watch where you're going next time." That was when the bell above the diner door rang. An older man walked in, calm, steady, wearing a simple jacket and jeans. Even if you didn't recognize his face, there was something unmistakable about him. Quiet strength, presence. It was Chuck Norris. He had been traveling quietly, stopping for lunch, and he saw everything. He walked straight to Emma first. Kneeling beside her, his voice was gentle. "Are you okay, miss?" Emma nodded, swallowing the pain. "I think so, sir." He helped her up slowly, making sure she could stand, then picked up the broken tray and set it aside. He never raised his voice. He simply treated her like she mattered. Then he turned to the officer. The room shifted. No one spoke. The officer tried to hide his unease behind a grin. "You think that was funny?" Chuck asked softly. "It was an accident," the officer shrugged. Chuck shook his head. "No, accidents don't laugh," the officer scoffed. "You got a problem, old man?" Chuck didn't flinch. "I've got a problem with cruelty, especially when it comes from someone wearing a badge." The officer stood, puffing out his chest. "You don't tell me how to do my job." "You're right," Chuck replied calmly. "I don't. But kindness does, and today you failed at it." Whispers rippled through the diner. Someone had already called the local station. Minutes later, another officer arrived, a sergeant. Customers calmly explained what happened. The sergeant turned to his colleague, disappointment heavy in his eyes. "We're going to talk outside," he said firmly. As they left, the diner finally breathed again. Chuck sat across from Emma while she iced her knee. "You didn't deserve that," he told her gently. "Thank you for standing up for me," she whispered. "You're worth standing up for," he replied. Before leaving, Chuck quietly paid for everyone's meals. He left Emma a generous tip and a handwritten note. Kindness is a form of strength. Don't ever forget that. The story spread, not because of who he was, but because of what he chose to do. The officer faced consequences. Training programs changed, and conversations about empathy began in homes, schools, and around dinner tables. Emma finished school and became a nurse. She still keeps that note in her wallet, a reminder that compassion matters. And Chuck? He moved on quietly. No headlines. No speeches. Because real kindness doesn't shout. It simply shows up when someone falls and reaches out a hand.